first thing to win the fight is what you know. Second is endurance. Then becoming strength. Having a heart this big, do the math, equals voice. Deep inside the fans' mind, they would love to see who would win a fight, Bruce Lee or Larry Holmes, Muhammad Ali. If take all the rules out, so people would always, the fans was always, they're always gonna be matchmaking. From the beginning, I was so involved on fighting that when I stopped, I took a couple years off, I couldn't even watch. I'll start to shake it, my hands would start to go, I wanna get in there so much, I'll look and I was like, man, that should be me in there. What am I doing over here? I couldn't watch it. When my brother Horton created the show, their first idea was to see which style of martial art is the best. And for that, we can't put weight division, we couldn't put rules, no gloves, it's gotta be as open as possible for all the different styles. So it was a style against a style. Today, the whole thing changed a little bit because all the fighters start to see, okay, we have to learn grappling. The grapplers will have to learn how to stand up fight, how to do some stand-up fighting. So it's the whole thing changing from style against a style to a fighter against a fighter. To do a tournament like it was on the beginning, 4 fights, 3 fights, 4 fights in one night, it's very hard to do no time limit because the fights might go long, might go an hour and a half. So it's for you to come back and do another fight right after that, might be very difficult. But for single fights, yes, I like the no time limit, everything goes. You see, so it gives time for the little guy to work. That's how I used to do in the beginning. Even the fight was fast, but I had time to work. Every sport is gonna be brutal. It's just something new. We gotta educate the crowd, we gotta educate the people. Even in the beginning, the doctors couldn't stop the fight when there was no rules. Even in the beginning today, there's the corner man. That as soon as he feels that the fighter can't do anymore, they can throw the towel. The fighters themselves, they can stop the fight at any minute they don't want to continue. The referee have the power to stop the fight. And we took a big step. It was a huge step. From the first day that my brother called me into his office and said, hey, got this idea, I want to create this show. A lot of people was against. A lot of people said, it's not gonna work. Sorry, this is America, you can't, this is too crazy. The idea is no good. A lot of people was against. But thanks to the pay-per-view company, thanks to the fans, the support, man, this is a huge step in such a small time. My family's been doing this kind of fighting back in Brazil for over 75 years. But in Brazil, nobody knows about it. Once it came to America, it spread all over the world.
Everybody was saying it was no rules, no time limit, and I remember this building up for the fight, and I was like, man, this can't be true. This can't be true. This can't happen. I've never seen it before other than in movies. I'm Ken Shamrock. I have fought in the UFC for about 15 years and MMA for about 16. Being able to walk into an octagon alone, you stand there and put everything that you got on the line and succeed, or even if you don't succeed, but know that everything you did in there was true. Everything that you did was pure. There was no excuses. There's no, well, my teammate didn't make a block, or my teammate didn't do that. Man, this is all you. And you can make or break your future. All on you. It was bare knuckles. You couldn't wear any padding in there. There was no time limit, and there was no rules. Who were the real men? Who were the guys that wanted to step in there and be fighters? That, to me, was a true warrior. The very first fight of the UFC was Gerard Godot and Emmanuel Toué, which was a Hawaiian sumo. And I remember the bell rang in the locker room, you hear the pads popping and the guys getting all angry and ready to go out and fight. It was the first time anybody's ever even thought of putting something like this on, and it really hadn't sunk into anybody about what it really was. So the bell rings, Gerard Godot goes charging across the ring, Emmanuel comes walking out like a sumo, Gerard hits him one time in the cheek, he goes down to one knee, he kicks him in the mouth, the teeth go flying in the front row, and I kid you not, when all this happened, the popping of the pads, the screaming, and the crowd going nuts went silent. I mean, you could hear a pin drop in that place. And at that moment, everybody realized what the UFC was really about. The original no-holds-barred MMA. That was the fight that set the tone. It didn't limit you to what you were capable of doing. This was a straight-up fight. And if you had skills, you were able to showcase them, whatever they may be. And when that sunk in my mind, I felt comfortable. I felt like this is where I need to be. This is me. I thought I did, fairly well. I made some mistakes, but, as a young fighter, I'd only been fighting about 2.5 years over in Japan. And there was a lot for me to learn. This was a totally different event as far as over in Japan, because this was bare knuckles. There's no time limit. There's no rules. You were allowed to wear gis. You could wear, one boxing glove, which was insane. It does you no good. So it was definitely a different event, and there was a lot of learning that I had to do in that. There was no fear. There was no second thought. It was like a lion when it's attacking its prey or when it's fighting. It's just, you just do it. There's no thought. That was the day that changed the way that people thought of mixed martial arts. The time limits, the no rules. Would the karate guy beat the wrestler, or would the jiu-jitsu guy beat the boxer? That was the interesting part. No, after UFC 1, honestly, I thought because of the performance that I had against Royce Gracie was that I didn't even know if I would be back. I didn't. I thought I beat Patrick Smith and it was good, but against Royce Gracie, I made a mistake of really not understanding who he was. I remember walking after beating Patrick Smith and people were booing me. They were actually booing me because they thought, what was that? This ain't pro wrestling.
It's still very painful, and you got it. If it hurts, it hurts. You have to quit.
Well, I broke the guy's ankle. But they didn't have an education of that stuff. So it was kind of up in the air then. I didn't realize how much that I actually connected with the fans. Fans and the people were picking up on it, and they were just dying to see more. Then I go, this is it, man. This is the new era of mixed martial arts. There was the other magazines with karate and wrestling and boxing. They're gonna have to make an adapt, because the real word is out now, that grappling is the best at that time. And then as it transcended, then it was like the strikers are learning how to defend the submissions, and now they're knocking out the grapplers. And the grapplers are going, wait a minute, now we gotta learn how to strike. So now they're learning how to strike at the same time they're doing their submissions, and that's where we are at today. It's developed so much that now you truly have a weapon, a person that can either one, knock you out with his hands, feet, knees, or elbows, or submit you on the ground and break a bone. This is the ultimate in self-defense. I see the future of the UFC going as high as it wants to go. Just as long as the people at the top who are in charge of the UFC take care of the UFC, keep the reputation strong, and don't do anything stupid that's going to hurt the UFC or themselves. And I think it's going to get bigger than boxing.